Hello, hello. Welcome to Citizen McCain. I am Miranda Wilkins, filling in for Meghan McCain. But get this, not much longer. She will be back. I have her return day, and I am going to tell you today when it is, but not right now. I do want to say hello to Sina and Yemisi. Oh, did I just edge you guys a little bit?
Man.
And I think you guys even might know when her day is that she's coming back. Yemisi is the former chief of staff to the Biden White House, the press office, and a political consultant commentator. You can find her on TikTok, Yemyaz, on Instagram, at Yemisi on X. Thanks to our lovely Meghan and Yemisi.
Mhm.
We are going to get into something, controversy that you are directly, I don't know if you're involved in, but you have intimate knowledge of pretty soon. And Sina Ghaznavi, comedian, producer, lawyer, father, friend to
Human.
all, human, man. You have two podcasts distributed by SiriusXM Fraudsters. Do you have the deal where they show it on Netflix or whatever too? Have you seen
Not
that where
yet.
they,
Not yet. I need a little bit
oh,
more juice. Someone needs to
not
juice my
yet.
numbers before that
Okay.
happens.
Well, let's everybody here go stream Cena's show so we can watch him in all his glory on Netflix podcast section. Um, the Foreign Report, which everyone should be watching so they can keep up with what the fuck is going on in the world. And he's the owner of Zero Cool full service
Oh.
creative agency. So at Cena Now on X and at Cena Now on Instagram. A great follow, full of information and humor and parenting life. So I was going to start with Iran, but I think we should start with what's going on at the airports because I think that it's all tied in together. Um, and it's really important because I have a intense conspiracy theory, and I think this is one of the last times I'm going to get into all that because Meghan comes back and soon, and I don't know if I'm going to get to put my crazy hat on much longer. So, um, we're seeing ICE agents being sent to major airports. TSA workers are, you know, quitting as they would, should, can. They're not getting paid after this like partial government shutdown with the DHS funding. Um, Ashley, if we can get the video of the long, insane lines, I'm sure a lot of people have seen it. I mean, there was people in Houston who were just sleeping on the floor of the airport. If you've got to go anywhere, don't train, go by train or car. But I mean, these are people in Houston sleeping because they didn't this they're the accident at LaGuardia that happened where the plane crashed into the fire truck. The NTSB called on their investigator to come in and help them like work on it, and she had to fly through Houston. She was stuck in the TSA line for 5 hours before the head of the NTSB, Hamidi, I can't remember her first name, had to call the TSA in Houston and beg them to put her in for the front of the line so she can get the hell to LaGuardia and help them investigate this horrific crash where these two pilots died. So, um, we're seeing these massive security lines, and what's driving all this is this DHS security funding, and they want to limit ICE's control, and instead they're giving ICE more control, especially in these weird airport situations like the SFO, where they don't even use TSA. So why is ICE there? They have their own private security to help check you through and get you through the airport. And I've been to San Francisco Airport. It's incredibly efficient. I love that airport. It's great. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Um, so, I was talking about this with one of our staff members, and she has very close ties to the admin. It's not Meghan, it's someone else. And she's like, "You're crazy." But this is my big thought, and this ties into the boots on the ground going to Iran. This is my big conspiracy, and I'm gonna get it off at the top of the show, and then I'll be normal the rest of the day, I promise, maybe. Um, they're sending our most elite soldiers to Iran, the 82nd, 5,000 Marines from California. And, you know, they're not going to be here for, should martial law be declared, or, things go down and we may need the military to protect us, people who may actually like follow their oath of duty. And when we're starting to see these enforcement agencies show up in civilian spaces like the airports, which I know they're federal, but that's very new that it has been this intense considering the span of time. It's like what, 9/11, that all this stuff got really intense. So, um, at what point do the lines blur? Trump just says, F the TSA, ICE is going to take it over, CBP, whatever, Homeland Security takes over TSA, and we get a government agency that tells us whether we can even travel or not within the country by air. Or is that crazy, 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 crazy?
Ooh.
Cena, you can go first.
I think the assassination being staged is way more believable than this.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I think the Butler County shooting assassination attempt, I am in the camp of definitely staged. This, I don't believe at all.
Okay,
But
good.
yeah, that's where I'm at as far as conspiracy theories go. I think it's just so involved. We have to remember, this is the same thing about Russiagate. We can either believe that Trump is this like kind of like a stumbling buffoon, and that, or he's like a 5D chess intellectual
But it's not
genius.
just
And this
him. There's
takes
a whole crew of people around him. Stephen Miller, Hegseth, Rubio. There's people around him that they don't want Yemisi and me and Cosmo, your wife, to be able to vote. So, I mean, it's not that unfathomable that they're also going to try to limit our ability to do stuff.
I think there's definitely a big part of they're doing a lot of stuff. They could do a lot of stuff way easier than martial law, like the voting rights stuff that they're doing, making it difficult, closing poll places. There's a lot of other things they can do within the bounds of what is quote unquote legal to make it more difficult to vote, to juice the system in their favor than this now. But God bless. This sounds fun.
I'm in the Writers Guild, so I gotta use my brain to exercise it. And if you're watching on the Zoom and you want to get in on this, please raise your digital hand. I can see all of your lovely faces if you want to talk to any of us. And same thing with the YouTube chat. If you want to join us, request on the Zoom and Ashley will let you in. Um, Yamasi, when you see this funding fight happening in Washington, and it starts disrupting something as basic as airport security. You're seeing everyday Americans completely impacted. The the people are just not going to travel, especially as summer is starting to approach. What is the long-term solution for this? Like what can be done other than the Democrats just give in and say, okay, fine, we don't care if ICE wears masks and just jumps into people's
Yeah.
houses.
Well, let's be very clear. People are still going to be outside. I have trips planned for the summer and I'll be outside. If I got to sleep at the airport the night before, so be it. But no, we're going to be outside this
angel.
summer. I've been in a couple shutdowns, having worked in the federal government for 10 years. And one of them, the second longest, I mean, it really came to a head during the first Trump admin when it was the airlines. I mean, this part right here, this squeeze, this pain is what is now the second longest shutdown ended, because once it starts to be everyday Americans. I don't know if you guys saw the clip of a passenger in Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta airport, where I'm from, Georgia, that was like, fire them all. It's also important to note for shutdowns, nobody's standing in these TSA lines going, oh, Republicans, oh, Democrats. It's everybody to the everyday American. So I think it's going to be pressure on Republicans as well. But I mean, this is the squeeze. And so if Dems are really, really, really sure that this is the path they're gonna take, then they have to stick to it. But they're also getting a lot of their own perks rescinded. We saw Delta say that they're not doing any more VIP services for members of Congress. I was actually surprised how many people were unaware that, like, that's what airlines do. I was like, have you ever stood in a TSA line with Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, John.
Well, I mean, we saw that video of Nancy Mace having her kind of freak out at the airport a few months ago where she was like, I'm a member of Congress. I'm allowed to just walk through this line or whatever. And so I remember that vividly.
It's technically right. At most airports, I mean, it's more of a headache to an airport for there to be a situation where a member of Congress is accosted and a scene is created than to just shuffle them through, put them in a private area, and then shuffle them to the front of the line to board the plane. So now that those perks are taken away, because remember, during any shutdown, full or partial, members of Congress are always paid. So it's not about the pocketbook here. But once it starts getting inconvenient and people are confronting Ted Cruz in a Southwest line, I don't know what he flies. I think it's going to start to get harder.
Well, last night, John Thune said to he had held a little bit of a presser, and he was saying something like, you know, we're closer than ever. And Chuck Schumer said, you know, we're almost there. So realistically, they're hopeful that by the end of the week that they'll have something. And I think that the more we see these types of videos go out on social media, and especially, Ashley, if you can pull up the one of the guy on his phone while the line wraps around outside in New Orleans. I mean, if this doesn't end up on the cover of Time magazine, I will be shocked. And in all fairness, I don't personally know the context of this photo that we're showing, but it's an it's an ICE agent, you know, scrolling as the line is in the parking lot.
Perfect, officer.
Yeah.
Perfect.
The best people. These are the best people. I got the best guys. This man, I mean, for all intent, this man could be on his break, you know, whatever.
It's almost like, Miranda, we don't need ICE. It's almost
right?
Almost
as
like
if
we
they're
don't
not
need them
doing
at
much.
all.
And so it's just get them out of there. If they don't have anything to do, get them out of there.
No, get them an X-ray machine. Start another line.
Help a grandma carry her bags, or a mom trying to wield 5 kids through the airport.
Wait a minute, though.
Why isn't he doing pull-ups at the RFK gym that they have there? I mean, he should be doing stuff. They got stuff to do. So
if they go in line, this guy's going to be heavily armed. He's going to be saying, I got to pat you down, back of the hands to the buttocks, back of the hands to the buttocks. You know, this is going to be so uncomfortable.
Oh God, I hate it when the lady goes like in your bra. It's so weird.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you get the turn your head and cough, I bet, at the airport. So that's, you know, that's the whole thing too.
Only if I pay extra.
Hey, but you know, it's worth it. It's worth it. Doctors and agents. I mean, the twofer. In America, that's called healthcare. So, I mean, let me ask you guys this. At what point does this political standoff cross party lines? And this is not even just policy disagreement. It's just all and out basic government failure. Because to me, this looks just like completely dysfunctional.
I mean, if you ask the administration, they'll say everything's going great. And no, actually, that's not right. They would say, this is Biden's shutdown. This is Yemisi's fault. Yemisi did all of this. This is all her fault.
It's me.
It's her shutdown.
It's me.
She's actually running ICE. I don't know what everyone's thinking.
Yemisi, answer for this now.
This is what Biden's people do.
It's still us on the inflation. It's all of us.
You have to Venmo all of us personally.
But this is what you can't talk. They're like delusional when it comes to this kind of stuff. If you just took the people out of it, right, like who the characters are, this is a developing nation level of problems. This is truly like absolutely planes hitting trucks. Come on.
Oh my God. Horrific. And I mean, I spoke to, because there's rumors that it was only staffed and please allegedly forgive me. I don't want to get in trouble for this, speaking out of turn. But again, I know someone who works in levels of whatever. And I was like, okay, please clear up. Cause I'm incredibly nosy. I was like, what was the gift Iran sent him? She doesn't know. But I was like, okay, what, and also we can get into it, but there's questions if even a gift exists, and it probably doesn't. But I said, and is it true that there was only one air traffic controller in that tower at the time of the crash? And the answer was no. That I heard was it was staffed well. It's one of the best staffed air traffic control airports in the country because it's so incredibly busy. So that also, and but she said, this person said, it's like, well, you know, and we all know it's one of the highest stress jobs in the country, if not the world. So you know, it's hard to get staffing, but this particular airport, and if this comes out to be different, you know, I'll do a mea culpa. But at this point in time, when that's what I'm hearing is that there were people on staff. So it's truly a huge, huge, horrible accident, and big tragedy. Let me see where we were. Okay.
Staff
So,
appointed by Biden, though. Sorry, just had to add that in.
Yes.
uh, you know, Sina, are you an airport dad? Like, because
Yeah. Well, I'm Persian too, so
I'm a
like we
chaos
have a
person.
double
Oh
layer.
yeah, because you have to
So
expect the pull aside, right?
no, not even. Thank you. It's that's not what I was talking about. Persian dads are notorious for showing up and like, hello, let's go. Very hurry up, hurry up. We have to get to the airport so early. My dad did this. God bless his soul.
Oh
I
no.
do this now. My wife is an efficient Japanese American woman.
Oh,
She
so
does
this
not
is
believe in this.
Oh,
Go to the
double
airport so
whammy.
early.
so you
I
guys are
go
fine.
early.
Yeah, no. My husband is an
Mhm.
airport dad. It's like if you're not 10 minutes, and I am like a chaos monkey. Like I'm packing the morning we're leaving. Like
Oh,
I get to the airport 10 minutes before boarding. I'm like, it'll be fine. I already checked in online yesterday. They know I'm coming. So I like if I had to travel, which I rarely do anymore, um, this would be a huge problem for me because I hate waiting. If I had to go and stand in line for like 6 hours, I would rather shoot myself. So I don't think that I will be going anywhere. Yamasi, sorry if we had any you know, girls trips that we were gonna plan for this summer. Just, you know, keep it local. Palm
uh,
Springs. I'll go back to Disneyland with you anytime you want.
maybe Amtrak will see a bit of a pop, a resurgence here.
I just don't think they'll let us in the quiet car. But if they have a drinks car, I'm down. Yes, but I love an Amtrak, especially the coastline, California coastline one is gorgeous. So, and it goes to San Diego, which is super fun. Okay, I want to get into Iran because apparently we won the war. Did you
Oh
guys
yeah.
hear?
Also regime change.
Yes, and Trump and the Ayatollah are going to be friends and operate the Strait of Hormuz together. Did
Yeah.
you hear that one too?
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think mission accomplished. Need the banner. Watch this
On to
drive.
Cuba.
Problem solved. On to the next, right? Uh, what the fuck? So, I don't know what to make of this because he's saying he got this like really big present, and I don't even want to. I'm not going to do a Trump because Cena does a much better one than me, but also this video to watch last night when I was like getting all my stuff together was so disturbing.
Yeah.
He's unwell. We all know this, but this was so weird. Ashley, please just roll the clip.
Something yesterday that was amazing, actually. They gave us a present, and the present arrived today. It was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money. And I'm not going to tell you what that present is, but it was a very significant prize. And they gave it to us, and they
Prize.
said they were going to give it. So that meant one thing to me: we're dealing with the right people.
Nuclear related?
No, it wasn't nuclear related. It was oil and gas related. And it was a very nice thing they did. But what it showed me is that we're dealing with the right people.
Mm. How much money was it?
This is big, like participation trophy energy, by the way. It's like, you know, he's I love gold member. That's him. What could this possibly be? If you have any guesses, either drop them in the chat or please raise your hand because I wanna get your theories on what this could be. But Sina, any thoughts on what this big, beautiful prize could be? Did he get the Nobel Peace Prize from Iran?
I he would hope. He would hope. I
Jesus.
think just to take just a super quick step back, the way the IRGC, the way this war is being fought is through what the military people call a mosaic defense, which is like their command and control structures all spread out throughout the country. So if central command, if some people go down, which is what has happened, like leaders of the IRGC and the theocracy have all been killed, but that doesn't mean that the other kind of like parts of their defense system are not going as well. So other factions can be operating on their own without basically any contact with central command, with Mujtaba, the supreme leader, or maybe even the head of the IRGC. So in my head, there is a chance that some splinter group of the IRGC hit Pete Hegseth up on Signal because everyone knows they can find him there. And they were like, buddy, let's make a deal. I have 12 Persian rugs and 3 tankers of oil for you, my man. And then he's like, oh, this must be the people running the country now. And he doesn't know. And I don't know if Witkoff and Kushner are the ones that are doing it and they're talking, because this is like a game of telephone. But they also came out, the news agency, I believe, came out and said, like, you know, or the Speaker of the House or whatever's left over there was like, we're not negotiating. And so I don't know if that's actually happening, but I have talked to a few people that said they do believe that negotiations are happening. The real question is Israel going to actually abide by this? And the last thing I saw Netanyahu say was he's just going to keep going.
Well, AI Netanyahu, because I mean,
Okay.
as we discussed last week, he's no longer with us. Yes. I mean, yes, because like to your point, late last night, AP reported that Iran is like publicly mocking the idea that this is over and that negotiations are even happening. An Iranian military spokesman went on state television and said, I'm just going to read it because I don't want to get the quote wrong. The U.S. is not negotiating with Iran. It's negotiating with itself. And he rejected the idea that any deal outright, even after reports that the admin sent this 15-point ceasefire proposal through Pakistan. So, and like I said, they're sending the 82nd Airborne Division. That's one of our most elite military groups. They're ready to go within 18 hours. They're just going to paratroop in and can seize control of land until other forces arrive, which is the 5,000 Marines coming from California. So, you know, the optics and the messaging is way off base here. If you're saying we won the war, they sent us a consolation prize, payoff, trophy, medal, whatever, and also sending boots on the ground. Why? Why are you sending the boots on the ground then, dude? If there's no war to be having, if we're done, if we won. So, you know, Iran publicly mocking negotiations, that's not subtle. That is that just domestic messaging? Is this signaling that the talks are actually going nowhere?
I mean, this is what's tough to say. You don't know who's actually the one in control. Mujtaba, the now supreme leader, did not have the credentials to become supreme leader in the, you know, Shia Islamic, you know.
Well, and they killed the guy that we should be talking to.
Well, yeah, but they upgraded him. So he's an IRGC guy. And so this could be a lot of the IRGC kind of pushing this agenda or fronting that they are not negotiating, but also negotiating behind closed doors. You don't know. I will say, when this started, the first thing I said as the worst case scenario for the people of Iran is that they bomb the Iranian government, they wipe out a bunch of them, and then they leave a good amount of the regime left, and then they make a deal for oil. Yep. And the Iranian people have been sold out, and they've been killed, and they are left with a regime that is going to punish them even worse than before. Mujtaba is more extreme than his father, which is crazy to even think about.
How does that happen?
How is the Witkoff Kushner pairing? Because I keep seeing people who are in JD Vance's camp, almost like he's on the sidelines and they want to get their guy in the game. because he's like, his name has totally been erased from any real foreign policy conversations.
Well, because he's
So
an isolationist. Yeah. So it's Marco Rubio, Jared Kushner, Witkoff. They say JD's helping with the negotiations. You know,
yeah,
he's just sitting there at with a
He's
coloring book.
formatting the documents. He's putting it in
If even
12-point font,
that.
Courier New, making sure the
I mean,
margins are
and
right.
you know what? I don't blame him. He's a veteran. Maybe and I know he didn't like do combat, but like, you know, he's in the military, so I'm not going to discount that. But at the same time, it's like, you know, nobody takes him seriously. And so what does that look like? Because he's got Pete Hegseth saying kill all captured. What is it? No leave, no
No
quarter
quarter.
them, no quarter. Yeah. So,
Mhm.
and apparently that's like horrific to even consider. I'm not a big military person, so forgive me. But I mean, yeah, zooming out, we're saying that this is really, why is Jared Kushner even there? Because it's the oil. And why did we sell a bunch of Venezuela's oil and put it in a bank account in Qatar? Like, what's that one?
Oh, all these Gulf countries are on the phone with the administration yelling
Gulf
at him.
countries.
I think the military generals all planned everything out very
Oh,
well, but
Gulf
I think
countries. I thought you said Gulf countries because we're
they,
building
they
because we're
also are
building
Muslim
resorts in
countries.
all of them. So I was like Gulf countries. So sorry, my mistake, but
But
I'm
they
not
all
actually
are
not.
calling. Like I don't think the military games and then when they gamified this out thought that Iran would close the strait so quickly and bomb everyone. Even though they said they were going to do that, I don't think they thought they were going to do it as quickly, which I think makes your political problems come up way faster, right? And you have to deal with those a lot sooner. So you send the guy that did the Abraham Accords, and you send the guy that I don't know is doing insider trading all the time, and so you send those two guys, and what could possibly go wrong?
Well, they want this like island of Karg, which I get is like really crucial to the oil and whatever. But honestly, it sounds like something out of the Avengers. And I'm not trying to like make fun of it, but it's just really hard to take seriously when they're fighting over
if
this
I'm
island that nobody's ever heard of until yesterday.
if I'm Trump though, I send my son-in-law because Jared Kushner has made a lot of money working for this administration, whether in it as senior advisor or now on the outside. Like, yeah, they're in Miami, but they're also involved heavily in the White House. I send him because everything he does is through the lens of making more money for the Trump family. So I think he's like at the table with Witkoff, but he's also like taking those side notes of how does this benefit us when all of this is done in like 2 years.
Oh yeah, I mean, uh, what was it? Eric, no, not Eric. Eric is the one that doesn't get to go outside. Don Jr. had like invested some sort of small investment into some Bitcoin company that man, and he ended up making like $33 billion. It was just like a really lucky investment. These guys, they're just money making machines. I don't know why they can't turn that around for our country. Ray, I see your hand up. Is there something that you wanted to get in on this before we jump into our next topic?
Yeah, I've got one comment and one question.
Sure.
The comment is reference the elections.
Okay.
The one topic that people are not talking about is that if the Supreme Court rules that Mississippi's um, late count is unconstitutional, that's going to throw a number of states in complete disarray because a number of them are not allowed to even begin counting early voting until the day of the election. I don't see how they're going to be able in 4 months to change around their processes to count that fast. And that's based on state law. My question is, why does anybody seem to think that Trump believes a message on what he's doing with Iran matters? He has his base. He only cares about his base. He doesn't care about what anybody else thinks. And I hear people over and over again saying, my God, there's no message. We don't know what he's doing. What does he care?
Yeah. I mean, I don't, well, he doesn't because he has nothing to lose at this point because he can't have a third term and he doesn't care about his heir apparent, which would be JD Vance. He doesn't care to include him. And these are just my personal feelings, but um when I see stuff like this, it's like, you know, they say, oh, the polling within the MAGA base is so he has 100% polling. They love the war. And I'm like, who did you talk to one person? Because everything that I'm seeing, at least on my social media feed, is they're furious that he's doing this because he ran on a platform of America first, no new wars. We're going to take care of what's going on at home. Um, we're going to get into the Manosphere documentary in a little while, but all of these influencers that were profiled in this Manosphere doc are all incredibly red-pilled MAGA. I did some follow-up on them to see how they feel now, likely a year out from when this documentary was filmed, and they have all flipped and hate Trump now because they don't like what he's doing with the wars with Israel, with Iran, with all of this. So I think that this is incredibly unpopular within MAGA circles, and more people are aligning themselves with the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson. Not that I agree with them, because I think a lot of their sentiment is rooted in anti-Semitism. But that's to say, you can't, this administration at this point so far has been the biggest bait and switch. And I don't hate to say we told you so,
You don't
because
believe that the Jewish space lasers started the Paradise Fires? You don't believe that? Well, that seems very, I don't know. You just had a conspiracy theory up top. This is,
my cousin lost his house in the Paradise Fires. That crazy guy rolled his car on fire.
Fires.
Fires.
Exactly.
Fires.
Quote unquote fires.
Yeah, that was no, he just wanted a bigger farm. So
I think
yeah,
that's a great question for Ray, though. What the thing that I have observed and was reading about is that, and thinking about Trump, is that he doesn't know what it's like to be a lame duck president. He doesn't know what it's like to be a sterile, absolutely useless president. He has no power, and if it's a huge swing in the House and the Senate, everything's going to get stopped for him. Of course, he can still be an autocrat and do all the things that the executive branch could do. He's expanded the executive branch more than any president in history, of course. But that will matter to his ego, which is why I think he still wants to win in the midterms, which is why I think he wants to get out. I also think he just got bored with this war, which is a thing, and it's an excursion, hostilities, whatever. But I think he just wants to get out of it because all the press is not good. People are, it's not so much Epstein anymore, and so now he can go on to something else.
and that was one thing that Yamasi and I were going to talk about is I think he's got the attention span of a 3-year-old, and he's on to something new, and Yamasi's saying it's going to be
I'm
Cuba.
on to Cuba. Oh, I'm not thinking about Iran. I'm like, what's going on in Cuba?
Thanks, Yemisi. Thanks. We could use your thoughts.
Rubio
Typical
Cuba.
Biden White House.
Whoa, Biden strikes again.
All the leftists went to Cuba, and I said, "What's happening here?"
Thank you so much for your input, Ray. It's good to see your face because it's been a while, so it's good to see you. Thank you. Yeah, because what is going on? I mean, I saw that China sent Cuba like a ton of rice because the people there are literally starving to death. Trying to get here on, it's like Alien, if anybody is old enough to remember Alien, the boy who floated. I mean, throwback. Okay, thank you. God, I love millennials. If anybody remembers that, please take your baby aspirin. People are desperate to get out of Cuba, and it was Cubans in Miami who largely, voted in Trump. So this has been, I think, Marco Rubio's big master plan from the very beginning. So Yemsi, what do you think is going to happen? Like, what can your crystal ball? What do you think we can expect to see with Cuba moving forward?
I think Cuba will actually create a big friction in the Republican Party, because I watched Senator Tom Cotton during a hearing talk about what he fears will be mass migration issues once again with Cuba and what the plan is for that. I think that there is a faction of the Republican Party that is like a Rubio, that is a part of that South Florida caucus. And then there are people like Tom Cotton who doesn't care about Florida and is looking at the border issue, which has been his driving force here, and looking at another possible issue on immigration coming from Cuba. And then you also have a side of the Democratic Party that knows the House is going to flip, wants to push for the Senate to flip, and that means the focus needs to be domestic. But you've got that far left faction of the Democratic Party that took a vacation to Cuba and wants you to know about it and wants to keep Cuba on the radar. So
I remember when the Kardashians went to Cuba in their
I remember so yeah.
it looked beautiful.
They made it look like paradise.
Really? I
don't
mean,
know if people
not
are
really, but
complaining
right, I really
about
wanted to
Kim
go.
Cuba.
It was gorgeous. When Trump posted on Truth Social, who knows when, because the time has no meaning anymore, but he just like randomly tweeted or posted 51st state. What do you, and it was not about Puerto Rico. Was it Venezuela or was it Cuba? What do you think or Canada, but I don't think it was Canada. What do you guys think? Do you
Well,
know what I'm
Cubans
talking
are
about?
Republicans, so yeah, but
You think
I
it was
think
Cuba?
Cubans will be
You think
Republicans.
he's just
Puerto
gonna
Rico's Bad Bunny. We don't
take
like that.
Cuba and turn it into sandals and just call it a day? I mean, okay. Before we move into the next story, because I'm obsessed with it, we're going to talk about the Afroman case because that's just incredible. But I have to tell you guys about Quince. We love Quince. I'm all about quality over quantity, but my husband would not agree with you because our closet is literally exploding at the seams. But the thing about Quince is that it's so well made and versatile. They have stuff that you can wear, and they say this to women, but it's like it'll take you from day to night, but it really will, because it is stuff that you could wear to work and then go to dinner and you still look normal and cute, not like you're in your millennial business wear that we used to wear to the club when we were young, because I don't know what we were thinking. But the fabrics are so nice, and it really truly feels like you're wearing something super expensive, but the price points are totally normal. Especially in this time of turmoil where everything is so expensive. In LA, I saw a gas station and it was like $7 for a gallon of regular. So I don't have a lot of money to be spending on extra clothes, but every now and then I want to treat myself. So I pop over to Quince and see what they've got going on. They are always having incredible sales. And these are things that will last because it's done so well. The stitching, it's not like, you buy a sweater on Amazon. It's the same price as something you get from Quince, but you wash it one time and it falls apart. So the Quince stuff lasts. They have amazing things for women, men, kids, pets, bedding, anything you could think of. It's on their website. And, if you're looking for something for Easter, they've got it. Mother's Day is coming up. You cannot go wrong with a cashmere something for your mom, and she will think you spent a lot of money and you didn't really have to. So right now, go to quince.com/McCain for free shipping. What was that? You're just shaking. 365 day returns. That's a full year to wear it, love it, and you will. And now it's available in Canada too for all of our friends up north, 51st state. Don't keep settling for clothes that don't last. Stop buying fast fashion garbage. Buy Quince. Go to quince.com/McCain for free shipping, 365 day returns. Quince.com/McCain. Okay. Thank you guys
I'm
for
sold. Get that bag. Let's go.
get your mom some cashmere. Honestly, I did get my dad like this like cashmere black polo for he works at Warner Brothers, and he sits in this like ice cold studio editing movies frame by frame. Like he recently had to do It Chapter 2, and it's like imagine having to go when Pennywise jumps out of the screen frame by frame by frame. And so I was just like, God, your job sounds crazy. But I got him this like black cashmere polo and he loves it. He says it's like his favorite shirt to wear. So I need to get him some more for Father's Day. And they're not crazy expensive, honestly, because if I spent money on my dad, I think he would be really mad. You know how dads are. And they're impossible to shop for. So that was a win. Anyway, talking about wins, I want to talk about Afroman because I know that this is from last week, but we didn't talk about it then. And this is honestly like one of my favorite things. I haven't thought about Afroman in a really long time, even though he's from Palmdale, Lancaster, which is not too far from where I live. And he's got that song Because I Got High. And it was really like a one-hit wonder, but you know, he had this horrific thing happen to him where the police just busted into his house in the middle of the night, kicked in his gate, or maybe it was the daytime, I can't remember now, but they kicked in his gate, they kicked in his door, they held his family at gunpoint, his wife, children, guns pointed, AR-15s pointed at their faces, terrorized his family. They cut his security cameras on the inside. Like, this could have really gone left and been a horrific tragedy. They allegedly stole $1,000 out of one of his coat pockets. They were eating food out of his fridge. There was a lot of weird stuff that came out about what happened during this police raid. And Afroman might have the best sense of humor in the entire country because he went on trial because he did something called what he termed called making lemons into lemon pound cake, and that's because one of the officers ate his lemon pound cake that when they were eating his food out of his kitchen, which is like, who does that? And they were like talking trash. They're in his bedroom calling him a sex addict. He got all this on other cameras that they didn't happen to cut, or maybe before they cut. Oh, and their body cam footage. And this is like a worst case of the Streisand effect. If the cops had just let it go, none of us would have ever known about this. But they sued him for defamation after he made this whole album about how incompetent these police are, and had songs like "Will You Fix My Gate," "Help Me Fix My Door," "Lick 'em Up, Linda," about one of the lady officers. And he used footage from his own security and doppelgangers, lookalikes for the cops, and Lick 'em Up. That's my favorite one, is "Lick 'em Up, Linda," where it's just this blonde police officer just chasing him all over town, everywhere he goes. He's like coming out of the McDonald's, and there she is. He had to do a lot of running for that. Bless him, I couldn't do that. I on the verdict day, he wore this amazing suit, and we'll play the video in a second if you want to cue it up, but don't play it yet till I say. They found nothing. He was completely innocent when they did this raid, by the way. He was like accused of trafficking and drugs and all kinds of crazy stuff. And it's like, he's just a normal family man now living in this small town. And when they busted in his door, they found absolutely nothing. So, the officers were trying to sue him for $4 million for defamation. And this is a First Amendment case, ultimately. And he ended up winning. So let's play what he said after the verdict was read.
I didn't win. America won. America still has freedom of speech. It's still for the people, by the people.
Afroman becoming emotional there as he says this fight was bigger than him.
So fantastic. I became all consumed with this case. I was watching their testimonies, and I think the whole thing started when they thought that he was sleeping with one of their wives, and maybe he was, maybe he wasn't, who knows? But the officer, when he's on the witness stand, the lawyer goes, "Well, is he sleeping with your wife?" And he goes, "I don't know."
I'm so happy you brought that. That was my favorite
As
part
a
too.
lawyer, Cena,
And he did just say, "I don't know." He paused and felt the grief that he was in of not knowing, and he looked around and he just said, "I don't know.
I've been with this woman since middle school. I mean, I don't think she would, but I don't know for sure." And it's like, Cena, if that man was your client, do you just pack up and walk out?
Oh God, I would, first of all, not practicing, and second, would run. I would run out of the courtroom.
Like, I gotta go. Take my name off this case.
Get me out of here.
That is the worst case of the dumbest idiots not being prepared. You have one job in court, and that is to just answer the questions. And I don't know. Okay, then what are you suing for?
What about the woman who cried?
Yes.
When they
Lick 'em
played
up,
the video
Linda.
and she started crying.
That was Lick 'em up, Linda. It's
incredible.
Whether or not she is a lady-loving woman, I don't know. I didn't look into her background or business. It's none of my business. But There were a lot of very strong allegations in that song. And I will just, if you want to listen to it and watch the video, that's my favorite one.
Yeah.
But all jokes aside about this case, because it was very sensational, it was very short, but it was very sensational. And this is a true case of First Amendment. And Cena, you were telling me that, yeah, the cops really from the start had no case. Can you please explain to everybody why?
Yeah, when you're a public official, the standard of defamation is completely different than if you're just a normal person. If you're like a normal guy who like goes to their job every day a week, and then Afroman makes a mixtape with videos
Yeah, like a
about
diss
you,
track. Yeah.
yeah, and a diss track, and then you sue. But if you're a public official, it's called false light. You're in the limelight. You are in the public. So we have every right. The First Amendment really truly protects us to be able to say whatever we want to our public officials. And in this case, even if they didn't eat his pound cake, even if they didn't hold him at gunpoint, even if they didn't cut his things and like make all these weird faces in the cameras, he still could have made the videos and it would have been no defamation case.
Yes.
Yeah, he could do whatever he wants. Yeah. So I
Can I
implore
just
and
say,
yes, of course.
before really reading and getting into this case, I thought pound cake I thought it was a euphemism. I didn't know they actually literally ate the pound cake.
You thought like, oh, that's his nickname for like his wife or something. Yeah, I did too until I watched the security footage and I was like, they are pulling food out of his cabinets and snacking while someone's holding a gun in his kid's face. Like,
oh yeah,
what?
Diabetes, blood sugar.
They were hangry and that's why they broke the gate. Oh my God, we just figured it out. We should be a trio team of Mod Squad. Okay, yeah, Missy, I know you have to go soon, so I want to get into this with you because I'm not going to show the video because it's incredibly disturbing and also I think very one-sided. But there is a very big scandal in the world of The Bachelorette and The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And I will say up front, I do not watch either one of these shows. I've never watched The Bachelorette because they're like, or Bachelor, because they're like 3 hours long. And I'd rather spend that time rewatching The Sopranos or doom scrolling or Housewives, like literally anything than drunk people kissing in a hot tub. That sounds gross. So, but I don't judge. We listen and we don't judge. Okay, so this is very messy. A major reality TV scandal is unfolding, and Cena, your eyes can glaze over because you're going to be up on deck very soon solo, so you don't have to interact if you don't want to. But Taylor Frankie Paul is one of the Mormon wives, and they got famous for their like swinging and
mom talk,
soft swinging mom talk, whatever. The one who I thought was going to be hated and canceled, Whitney, ended up being like beloved because she killed it on Dancing with the Stars, and now she's doing Chicago, and she's like way out of the mix, and everybody loves her now. And the one that I thought people would love, Taylor Frankie Paul, everybody hates her because she's effing crazy. And however, this video got leaked this week or maybe late last week of a 2023 physical altercation between Taylor and her husband or partner, ex-husband Dakota. And I'm not going to show you it because again, it's horrible. There's a child involved. And also, this isn't new information. This is something that it was addressed on their TV show that's also an ABC property. She went to court for it. She pled guilty for it, domestic violence. But the video came out, and all of a sudden now, they're canceling this entire season of The Bachelorette, and all those boys that were going to be famous influencers or personal trainers are now not going to get to be famous, and I feel so sorry for them. But you know, this is not something that ABC was blindsided by. They had to know. There's clearances, there's background checks. This was a criminal case. They had to run her record. This was stunt casting because she's already famous. They usually cast people you don't know to be the Bachelor or Bachelorette, or at least someone from a previous season. So what this shows me is that ABC didn't care until people started to care. And for me, not knowing too much about any of this, but just from what I got to see as an outsider, is that Taylor is not the aggressor in this. She looked like a reactive victim. When you watch the video, yes, she hurls a bar stool or whatever chair at the man, her husband, and it clips her kid. Totally horrible, completely unfortunate, and obviously a toxic dynamic, very bad, chaotic family life. Um, but when you're in a domestic violence situation, which I don't live in one, but I've been around them and grew up in adjacent to them. Without getting it too much into detail, it's called reactive domestic violence, where someone pushes you to the point where you get like that, and he's filming her. She can't film him when his 200-pound frame is throwing her 90-pound frame around. She's too small. So he can film her when she's coming down the hallway throwing her tiny punches and throwing a chair at him. It's easy. From what I understand from police procedure, when the cops show up, usually the most calm one is the aggressor, and the person who's hyperventilating and going crazy is the person who's reacting and has been abused. All that to say, I'm not an officer, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a social worker. My brother is, and this is the conversation I had with him about it, is when we look at this, she's a victim and now she's getting blamed. But, what's changed? Because they already knew all of this. They probably already even also saw the video. So are we just canceling her because the video got leaked? Maybe the season was really bad and boring and someone leaked it so that they wouldn't have to do it or pay out. And who's going to be responsible for the 30 to 70 million dollars in losses for pulling the show at least? So, Yemisi, I know that this is like, you're very into this. Please go.
That was a great explainer, but the show was not canceled at all because it was boring or bad. Insiders like Reality Steve, if you follow the Bachelor franchise, Reality Steve gets all
I know Reality Steve, yeah.
The season was good because like she's frankly a little bit unhinged. She's a bit more unhinged than usual bachelorettes. We already knew from her show on Hulu that she tends to be the person who is the instigator in that group. ABC, Disney, sorry, Bob Iger, I know you're gone, but like you guys already knew that she was like this because she had been arrested. There was a mugshot. We knew that those two fought. And for those that don't know this franchise, they slept together before she came on the show, like the night before. It's also been revealed. So they're being held responsible for trying to do a gimmick, basically, of trying to get this woman.
Was it fake? Was her going on The Bachelor like?
I mean, you get married at the end. You get proposed to and married at the end. Like, and you know what, guys? We should maybe talk about the fact that maybe you don't need like a twice married single mother as
Swinger.
the Bachelorette. Like maybe you should just do the 28-year-old dental hygienist as God intended. Get back to the basics of the franchise. Get back to how it used to be. This was just like she was just not a good pick. Like who's gonna take that on? And they usually live in like totally different states. And none of it made sense to me. It was all a gimmick.
Like the hometown. You know who the biggest winner in all of this is? And I was in a group chat with the Meghan and a mutual, but like I said, the biggest winner in all of this is the mother-in-law of the guy who got the final rose. Because who wants her as their daughter-in-law at this point with all of this craziness and baggage? Because I can't fathom having to entertain any of this, having her over for Thanksgiving and she's Teresa Giudice flipping the table. It's too much. And the attention and all of that, like the Bachelor and Bachelorette, they are famous for 6 weeks, maybe, and then they just live in Bachelor Nation and come back for reunions or whatever. And then that's that. This guy would have to be on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and live this insane life forever. So I think that this is a blessing in disguise for
He
whoever.
wasn't. No guy was moving to Utah. He wasn't moving to Utah
Do you think they still actually live there or just travel there for
for filming. That's like Real Housewives of
like
Potomac.
Salt Lake?
Nobody
Yeah.
lives in Potomac. They can't
I
afford
don't,
it.
yeah, well, it's like Beverly Hills. Everyone lives in Encino. Like nobody actually lives in Beverly Hills. You know, Cena, you see them at the grocery store.
I
Uh,
know.
you know,
They're in the valley, baby. Come on.
they're in the valley, babe. They just take Coldwater over or Laurel. They're not living in Beverly Hills. Okay, Yemisi, I love you
All
so
right.
much. Thank you for joining. We will text later. Enjoy your next show
Cena,
because
and
you are the most in demand lady in news. All right, I'll
bye.
talk to you later. Cena, you're not done. I'm holding you captive.
I love it.
Because I need to talk to you very quickly about do we have time for the Manosphere? I don't think we have time for it. I
Well,
made you watch it.
I watched the doc last night, and I was walking around the house all after it, telling my wife, "I'm the dictator. You must have the sex with me when I ask. Unless you're on your
Submit.
period,
I'm
then
the
it's
alpha.
cool. The whatever. I'm the alpha." Oh my god.
All right, let's talk about it. Does anybody care if we go a little bit long, Ashley? Is it okay if we go a little bit longer? Because I have a lot to say about the Manosphere. I watched that documentary yesterday, and uh, these guys are so gay without being gay. Like they're like it's like gay for pay, but for it's homosociality, if that's
Oh,
like
wow. I love
a,
that word.
a
That's great.
thing. Like
Yeah.
because they love women when they can monetize them.
Hey, I love women.
But I hate women.
I
But fuck
love women. They
women.
just got to listen. But I love women. I love women a little too much. Come on.
Come on. Okay. For anyone who hasn't watched, this documentarian, very famous, Louis Theroux, he's done a ton of stuff on Netflix. It's a Into the Manosphere, where he dives deep into influencer culture, but specifically these like dude bros that preach women need to be quiet and feminine, and they would oh my god, they would hate me. Women need to cook and clean and make me a sandwich, and they can't have jobs, and a lot of them are doing this thing called one-way monogamy, where the
Yeah.
dude can have a million girlfriends, but the woman has to only be faithful to the guy.
That didn't go
And
over well with my wife.
your wife would stab you in the throat. Like,
I was like, so what? I mean,
I need to have multiple wives. It would be less work for you. Like, um, I, I'm thinking about her reaction. Okay. So he follows these like three primary influencers and then some of their followers. And then he does like a quick bit with like Sneeko, like one of the main guys who's done it, who was like weirdly the only one that I sort of liked, because and which is I don't want to admit that I like Sneeko because I don't like him, but out of all of them,
he's the least worst.
he seemed to be the only one who has evolved.
Yeah,
Like,
well, he's evolved into just a different form of anti-Semitism. So
yeah.
it's like so
But
strange.
the whole thing was so weird. The worst one was this guy Harrison HS
Yeah.
Tiki Taki whatever, living in Spain, and claims that also these guys all have split personalities. I should say that they are one way when and honestly, who isn't? Like one way when the cameras are on, a different way when the cameras are off. And when his mom is around, oh my God, that personality shift. His mom's there. He is down on his hands and knees scrubbing the floors. That was fascinating to me, that dynamic. And I think that's the only woman. But his mom, and I'm not trying to comment on her looks. However, she had that Palm Beach,
Sure.
bleach blonde hair, very tan, very skinny mini dress. It's like you can tell she's trying to fit in with these girls that HS hangs out with, even though. And another common thread, not to, I'm not shitting on single moms. I'm shitting on dads who leave. But
Yes.
a lot of these guys were raised in very dysfunctional households with no male role model.
Yes.
And I'm even considering the Tate brothers, who were abused by their father. There was another guy that I saw, the redheaded guy, I can't remember his name now. God, the guy from Florida who was from Louisiana, whose wife was like all in on it. Also, my point is this: these men are preying, they're predators on young boys, not women necessarily, possibly women, but they're preying on young boys. And it's like they're performing this alpha masculinity to guys online, because the only time you ever see women with them are women who are being paid to be with them. Part of their shtick is they go out live streaming at clubs and they'll talk to a girl on the street, maybe get her Instagram handle or whatever, a follower on Instagram, but they never actually like interact with women in any sort of meaningful way. But they're always preaching, get a high quality girl, low body count, or a virgin, XYZ, but they're not dating anyone, they're not with anyone. There's a part where HS shows Louis him getting oral from a girl in a club. It's like, why would you show that to another man?
Club bathroom.
On a toilet. Yeah. On the toilet. Ew.
It's yeah. Sorry,
Go ahead. I was gonna say, it's like these are essentially guys who are trying to con other guys, and it's like multi-level marketing, but for dude bro idiots. It's which is, they're like Tupperware parties, but for guys, because they're trying to sell you their workout regimen or supplements or crypto or whatever. And it's like, those are traditionally lady jobs. Like stay-at-home moms started these. So this is like levels of irony that Shakespeare couldn't have even come up with. So anyway, see, I want, you're a man, but you're not that kind of a man.
Man, I try to be. I've been trying.
I was
to
talking
be
about it with my
dictator.
husband, who's obsessed with Bob's Burgers, and I was like, there are Bob's and there are Jimmy Pestos, and you're a Bob. You're a Bob. Like, everyone needs to be a Bob, not a Jimmy Pesto. When you see that these creators are preying on young men, is that fair, or am I oversimplifying it?
No, I think they are preying, but I was trying to think about two things came up. One, and I'm glad you brought up all the gay stuff, because that also comes through too. And I didn't really think about it, but the thing, these men, these boys, these young people, why are they even in that vulnerable position in the first place? And I think about neoliberalism, I think about modern capitalism, I think about a post-industrial age, I think about all the things that have been happening to our economy in the last 30 or 40 years, and the fewer and fewer opportunities that people that maybe just have a high school degree or not a high school degree, or the lower, like, there are fewer opportunities for people in general. And this system that keeps telling them, you can do it, everything is there for you, the opportunity is there, it's just your fault. And then these guys come and say, here's the answer. And so people are in a vulnerable position. You and I have grown up in war, economic catastrophe, and then rinse and repeat that once or twice over.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of people that are byproducts that haven't had the opportunity, haven't had the ability to actually form a career. And so this is what happens. The other part of this is, yeah, it's a travesty of fatherhood. And as a father of two young boys, I've been thinking about this Manosphere stuff for years. In fact, the joke on the Foreign Report is that we're the #1 geopolitical show in the Manosphere, because zero guys would ever actually in the Manosphere watch our show. And so it is it upset me to no end. It spiked my blood pressure watching it. I think this is like, these men should be deported. Like, I mean, they already live offshore because they're running from the law. These are the weakest possible men on the planet. And these are the people that so many young boys look up to. And by the way, even if you're a good dad, this ideology can get into your boys' heads because of what happens at school. A group of the friends are into that guy, then all of a sudden you're into that guy, you hear it from them, even if you reduce the devices, all these other things. So you have to be proactive. You have to understand the culture that's out there so that you can protect your kids against it.
It's scary because these guys that I'm watching are the biggest losers I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And, they're talking about their traumatic childhoods, and it's like, who didn't have a
Yeah.
traumatic
Get in line.
childhood? Yeah, exactly. Like, okay. So, but we didn't grow up to be assholes on the internet. I mean, maybe we are. I don't know. But to some people. However, they interviewed these two guys in Miami that
Yes.
were desperately trying to follow these practices. And they're like, they're just, these guys are just such big inspirations to me because, they say you can't get better unless you do it yourself. You do, and I don't believe in the one line that stuck with me. And I know you're gonna know. I know you already know what I'm saying. Is he goes, I don't believe in depression.
Yeah.
And then Louis S. says, well, okay, but your brother died, right? And he's like, yeah. He's like, well, how did your brother pass? And he said, he took
Sorry.
his own life. And my reaction was the same. I burst out laughing because it's just like the hypocrisy. How preposterous is that? It's like you are so brainwashed by these mega douche lords who are telling you to get off your ass and do work and do this. Meanwhile, they're telling you this from the lounge chair of a beach club in Spain. And it's like the cognitive dissonance and the reasoning is so beyond crazy to me. There's no resolution. We're never going to get to an answer here other than if you have children or young boys in your life, engage with them
Yeah.
in a meaningful way so that they don't fall prey to this. Um, if you have daughters, like I have two daughters, should they end up, hetero dating men, I desperately don't want them dating boys like this or having that attitude of the woman who is married to that or whatever, having three children with that guy who is in the one-way monogamous relationship, and she's like also brainwashed and red pilled into thinking that this is a good idea. Luckily, the Mason Gaines guy, his girlfriend Angie left him after
Yeah.
this. She kind of was like, oh, yeah. And there's a post going viral right now on TikTok. I should have pulled it, or excuse me, Twitter. I should have pulled it. I didn't even think to, of her saying, I really am thankful for Louis Theroux in this documentary because he made me think more critically about my situation and helped me realize that I was not in I was being tricked into doing something that I didn't want for my life.
And I think the platforms that these men are able to make content on, whether it's Twitter or TikTok or whatever, Kick
Rumble.
or all these, the Rumble, all these things, that this is maybe my conspiracy theory. I believe that subconsciously the executives at all these companies want the audiences to be dumb. They
Oh,
want them to be as
totally.
dumb as possible. And I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that this is subconscious, but like the dumber the audiences are, the less educated the audiences are, the less critical thinking the audiences are, the more time they're going to spend on the phone, the more time they're going to spend doom scrolling, the more time they're going to spend idolizing these people, which is why the negative works so much better than the positive on all
Well,
of
they
these
pander to
platforms.
the lowest common denominator and totally lead with misinformation, like in the Myron Gaines fit
Oh yeah,
fresh whatever. And when they had that scientist who was clearly some kind of AI bot
yeah.
talking about the sperm lives in you forever and that's why your baby resembles the X, and Louis just like, what?
Hey, but there's actually scientific data that shows that. There's
But
actually
there's proof.
scientific data.
There's
There's actually
actually
scientific data.
it's well actually which is my favorite. So I highly recommend watching it. I broke it up in chunks. I watched the first half in the morning and then the second half later in the afternoon because
Oh, good for
all at
you.
once it's kind of sickening. It's a lot. So Sina, I sincerely appreciate you making the sacrifice and watching that for me because
No problem.
you're a good
Couple
friend.
Sapporos, I mustered through it. It was nice.
I watched this. Well, I can't say I watched it sober. I may have taken a Xanax or two while watching because I'm like, I thank God my husband is an angel and I met him when I was 17 and I don't have to deal with this. But my girlfriends who are dating and
Oh,
they send me the pictures. Paige, our friend who has her hand up, but we don't have time to go to you, Paige. I'm sorry. I love you. And I've been DMing with you for a week. She sends me her screenshots from Hinge and these men are unhinged. And
oh
that is
wow.
what they
You can
need to
send them to
name.
me. I'd love to see.
I
This
will
is
forward them to you
crazy.
with Paige's permission because
Wow.
oh my God, they are just like men should be men and women should be women and and it's like we do all understand that this is a system created. If a man tells you that, it is the ultimate red flag because they're setting you up to be dependent on them so that they can do whatever they want and then you are stuck. You are
Oh,
trapped. Um, who's that guy? Um, Oh, Crowder, Louder with Crowder. Do you remember
yeah.
him?
Oh, with his pregnant wife.
The guy who wanted to get everybody on board with no fault divorce
Yeah.
and no spousal support and stuff. And then we see that video from their house, and he's sitting out on the porch smoking the cigar, blowing the smoke at his heavily pregnant wife. I think they already have a toddler. She's begging him for help. I think installing a car seat or bringing in groceries, something like that. And he's just going off on her about, no, that's your job and you need to do that and whatever. And it's like, these jabronis are why I love California 50-50, no matter what. No fault of, like, sorry, I said no fault divorce, but you know what I was trying to say. He
Yeah, yeah,
wants
yeah.
the man to just be able to do whatever, leave whatever, and basically leave your wife homeless. Leave your wife and children homeless. These are the guys that will never pay child support and then say, my wife never lets me see my kids or my kids don't want to see me. So, um,
They
I can't,
invented a special circle of hell for these men. And
can't
I
wait.
am happy that they're gonna be there.
Cannot wait for that. Okay. So I love to end on a very, I don't want to, yeah, bizarre story. I love bizarre stories. And, this one's for you. Um, cause what's going on lately. This is my last one. And I don't know if you saw this or not. I like to surprise you. 27-year-old Dayton Weber is accused of fatally shooting a
Oh
man
God. Yeah.
during inside of a. Do you know what I'm doing? Do you
I
know the
think
story?
I think so.
Okay. He shot this guy in a car. The guy he shot is a motocross driver, a racer, and there were multiple people in the car. The passengers would not help him remove the victim. He wanted to dump the body, basically, but the other people in the car wouldn't help him. And so he drove away. The reason he needed help is because he's a quadruple
I
amputee.
knew it. It was gonna be. I couldn't remember his name, but then I was like, if
I was
it's
trying to
gotta
trick you
be.
with his name. He's a quadruple amputee. So he survived like a rare infection when he was like a baby and is a
Well, thank
quadruple
God he
amputee.
survived. Thank God.
And he's a cornhole master.
Yeah, I saw.
Then that's not like a thing on OnlyFans, guys. That is a game you play with the bags in the backyard. Emily, I like that you liked my joke. It's a game in the backyard. It's a lot of fun. We love cornholes. And his story was so inspirational. Like people really liked this guy. So
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to get more information. I want to find out what they were arguing about. Maybe like the guy was like, I can ride my bike and you can't. Like, who knows? But it's like, how
And he
does
just
it?
shot him. Did you see
What
the
did
video of
you?
him practice shooting?
No!
Oh
Oh
my
my
God, I
God, you
gotta
have to
find
send it
it.
to me.
It's
No.
incredible.
Ah,
The man can shoot. He can shoot a gun
because
like
that was my next question is, A, how do you even play cornhole?
Yeah.
How do you drive a car? How do you shoot a gun? And like, I get it. You're angry. I'd be angry too. If I was a
Yeah.
quadruple amputee, I would just take myself out. God's honest truth. I don't want, I like, if it's raining outside, I live in LA. If it's raining outside, I want to take myself out. So it's like,
Sure.
you've lived here long enough now. You get it. It's like hell when it rains here. So,
Yeah.
how, this is one of those stories where I'm just like, what do we even do with this? I fully expect within the next 20 minutes for you to text me that video
You
because
gotta see these
I
meat
need it.
paws grip that gun. You gotta
His mugshot is glorious. He's just like,
It is. I don't know what's he gonna do in prison?
I've got Oompa Loompa stuff. I don't know.
This is
Like
crazy.
you know,
This
in
is
Wolf of
so
Wall
bad,
Street,
Miranda.
you
we're
know, in
in
Wolf
so
of
much
Wall
trouble.
Street, when they throw the little people onto the
Yeah.
Velcro dartboard, that's probably what they'll do, because you got to make your own fun. And
it is crazy.
we're gonna get canceled. I'm gonna. You're not. You didn't say anything bad. I'm gonna get canceled for that.
Say,
Sorry.
little meat paws, but yeah.
I mean, that's accurate. Paws of meat. I mean, I got it. I need more information. I need the dash cam of that. And everyone says I'm fine. Okay, thanks. No. Um okay. Here's the news everyone's been waiting for. If you stuck around for all of this nonsense. Meghan's return. I have her return date, and you can expect to tune in, not next Wednesday, but please join us on Monday, March 30th. Ashley, please tell me that that's the right day, because I didn't double check my calendar. Yes. Okay. That's the 30th. Whatever day Monday is. This upcoming Monday, we will be going back to 2 days a week. Meghan will return and everything will go back to normal. And I will pipe down and probably tell you fewer stories about quadruple amputees. But we had a good run. Sina, I love you so much. You were my first guest. You are my last guest.
That's great.
And should this happen again, I will be calling you.
Yeah,
because I can't do it without you.
Oh,
so
you did great. You were great the first time. You're great now. So
you're
happy.
You're my favorite. I love you so much.
Love you
So
much.
say hi to Cosmo, say hi to the boys, and we need to get together. And
Yes.
whenever you're ready to go to Disneyland, we can all do it together in summer, because they have alcohol at California Adventure.
Okay, sold.
And that's the tip. That's my tip of the day. Okay, we didn't get into the California gubernatorial debate that was canceled because not enough people of color were invited. Also, they're not polling high enough, so everyone needs to just shut up about that. I hate sometimes I hate California. And also, just my quick aside, all of these dumbass egos who are polling at negative 25% need to get off the bench, and Eric Swalwell is the guy. We need to just back him because he's at the top. Javier Becerra out. Antonio Villaraigosa, goodbye. Everybody else, goodbye. Swalwell. And we cannot have Steve Hilton or Chad Bianco. We just can't do it. California cannot go MAGA after all the crap we've been talking. Like, we just can't do it. So I know that's not going to be popular in this chat, but those are my feelings. Thank you very much. We will discuss that more, I'm sure, on Monday. And Sina, I don't know if you agree or disagree, but
I agree. Absolutely. These little guys got to get out of there. We could have two Republicans at the top of the ticket if this goes south.
The way for anybody who doesn't know, the way California is it's just the top two. So whoever's polling at the top, that's who you have to vote for. It's not Republican or Democrat. It's just who's ever at the top. And right now we have two heavily MAGA Republicans at the top two. Ew. That's not what we're going for here. Yeah. So as people who live there, we're allowed to have comments, and that's that. So get out and go. And Dan Olivo agrees. He says, ew, and go away so we can vote for Eric Swalwell. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful week. I love you all.